What is up, everybody? It is me, Mike Vanderpool, aka Get Good Dad, and I am here today to talk about why I think that Fanatics is going to end up buying GameStop. So, some of you have probably heard about GameStop because of all of the things that are going on with Roaring Kitty and this meme thing and up and down with the GameStop. If you follow GameStop stock, let's take a look here. We're going to see that this chart is all over the place. Let's go back. That's last day. This was last week when Roaring Kitty did a little bit of a entered in this into the space again. If you don't know who Roaring Kitty is, don't worry about it. But this is the chart from 1 month, 6 month, for a year. Lots of the craziness over the past, what was it, year, with GameStop stocks specifically because of some things that are going on in the uh, I guess, meme stock space. That's not what this video is about, though. Roaring Kitty, I love what you're doing. I love your outfits. Someday I hope to be you. But right now, I want to tell you why I personally am investing in GameStop. And I don't know anything about anything. All of this is just pure made up figment of my imagination based on what I'm hearing and seeing and things that make logical sense as I play with both sports cards and understand a little bit about what might be happening based on how I've seen businesses evolve. So this was a little graphic I threw together. You can see here maybe how quick and easy it would be for GameStop to become CardStop by Fanatics. Whether or not it would stay GameStop or become CardStop, whatever, it's just such a good brand. The name GameStop is such a good brand that I think it holds value outside of anything else, right? We saw something similar kind of sort of with Radio Shack, but really think about the name as Radio Shack at this point. Number one, Shack is a dilapidated thing in my backyard that, or in the back of the woods that people get murdered in. Nobody likes that. Really old technology. I mean, we all still have them in the cars and everything else, and they're super useful, but you know what I mean? It's just got that perception. But GameStop, that's a place where I think that name holds a whole lot more value. Now, GameStop also just did another stock release. They've got billions of dollars in the bank, blah, blah, blah. But why do I think that Fanatics would buy GameStop? And there's two major reasons. And well, one major reason, two major reasons, and then one thing I think that I've seen Fanatics do that hints or starts to set this whole thing up. So, number one is this Fanatics Live. If you don't know what Fanatics Live is, and let me maybe change the screen here a little bit. Fanatics Live is where people, breakers, are selling cards uh, through streaming, similar to like Whatnot. You'll see streaming and breaking and ripping of cards on YouTube platform, Twitter, all over the place. But Fanatics Live is specifically the one that Fanatics has put in place to compete with all the other entities. eBay is even doing streaming now of breaks. And basically, long story short, a break is where people throw in and open a box and get hopefully some cards for the teams that they want cards from. Fanatics Live, I sat in on one of the Fanatics Live meetings, and that's when I heard the most interesting quote in the world when it comes to sports cards. This is from the mouth of somebody at Fanatics or somebody that works for Fanatics. Breakers set the price for boxes. So think about that phrase. Breakers setting the price for boxes. What does that mean? Let's think about that. Fanatics is the seller of these boxes. Breakers are the ones that set the price for the boxes. The relationship there is pretty uh, synergistic, if not incestuous, to say the least, right? So Fanatics Live is a platform by which people can sell cards, bottom line. Fanatics has a whole bunch of policies here, but these are some of the bigger ones, and I think this is what plays a huge part in this. Breaking podcast requirements. They are requiring security cameras. They're requiring multiple cameras with microphones and setting up a whole bunch of guidelines for how people can sell. Now, I've been on some Fanatics Live breaks, and we're not going to talk too much about that. But what I can tell you this from my own media production world is that having a space to break in, having a space to produce, stream from, then also to package your product where there's cameras there, so everything is under being visible, takes some space. All right, so keep that in mind. Breaking is a big part of this. Now we have, and this comes from NEO Cards and Comics. This is a letter that was sent, I believe, if I look back at this post here, and I'm always learn 24/7. Get your dad on X if you want to hang out. This is the full list of Fanatics and Tops terms for card shops. So local card shops now is where they sell cards. Fanatics sells the products, I believe, directly or sometimes through a distributor to these stores. And Fanatics has come up with a lot of conditions here by which that these stores will continue to receive their allotments. Now, some of you have probably been in local card shops that look phenomenal. Some of you have probably been in local card shops that smell like 1970 because that was the last time they were cleaned. That said, I'm not going to go in and read all of these details here, but think about it. Fanatics is putting down some rules around local card shops and how they need to behave as part of controlling who they're going to distribute to. Fanatics is also super involved in a big pillar of their business is the breaking business through Fanatics Live, which requires space. Okay. The other thing that's going on here, and I didn't even mention this, right? But GameStop is now accepting PSA cards, or not accepting, I should say, GameStop PSA. Let's see here what comes up, right? So GameStop now is buying and selling graded cards. Think about that relationship now, right? Breakers are doing repacks of cards. That's one of the things that they sell. It's basically they'll do a mystery box and you get that and you get a card and it's usually something that's graded. So they need a supply of graded cards. Tops and their product distribution through local card shops is a middleman between Fanatics and the consumer. It only makes sense that Fanatics would want to consolidate, synergize, whatever it might be, a storefront where people can bring them cards and have a means of production, a media studio, then combine that with the footprint of what GameStop already is and the brand that GameStop already is. Like these three things come together in an insane way. You already have this footprint out here of stores, GameStop stores. These stores have a great space. If you think about the space that is a GameStop, go visit a GameStop, look at the space. There are basically shelves of but open floor space with maybe some displays, but nothing too crazy, right? The build out would be minimal to do anything in here. You have a breaking spot in the back. You're bringing in, you have a storefront footprint all over the country. How many GameStops are there in the country? How many GameStops in the US? There are almost 3,000 GameStops right now in the USA in 2023. Maybe that's changed since then. But like Fanatics, by purchasing GameStop, or maybe with that $2 billion that GameStop just got, maybe they end up buying Fanatics. Anyway, there is too much synergy here, and it makes too much business sense for GameStop and Fanatics somehow, some way, not to get in bed together and create this space. National footprint of stores, the space to do breaking in, live breaks in, the space for people to bring cards in. It just makes sense. And that's why I think that Fanatics is going to buy GameStop.